so brilliant. I love it. Did you have to leave? Because I halfway through I asked you like I wanted you to answer a question, a very important question. I
Oh
was
God,
ravaging
I missed
asking
that.
questions. Yes, yes.
Oh, sorry.
So then I never
Because
heard you again, so I figured you just had to go, and it was good you left.
oh yes, I just clicked that. Okay, I need okay, taking a break, so I just
Oh, you needed to take
use
a break,
that.
really? Sorry, I don't understand.
No, I just use that icon of of a cup of a tea as
Oh,
to say that I'm going away.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Okay.
Oh, it is like this one. You can see on the screen.
No. Let me see. Maybe I have to go to chat. No, I don't see anything anyway.
Ah,
No. Yeah, I saw they give
ah.
you those icons, but then I saw that, but I don't know how to use them exactly. Yeah, it says yes, no, go slower, go faster, more, right?
Yeah, and more.
Then
And
the
when I click
buttons,
more,
yeah. Need a
yeah,
break.
and I.
Yeah, but need a break is not blue for me. It's gray, so I don't know if I can
Oh,
use
for
it.
me too. Oh God. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
I can
maybe it's
see.
not.
No, but I can
Yeah.
see yours.
Oh, you saw mine? Oh, I don't see yours.
Yes.
I don't see yours anyway. Where do you see mine?
Oh, just on the side. Wait, here I have participants.
Oh, 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 it's next to my name, it says.
Hmm?
Oh, hang on. I have to make my screen full screen then. Okay. It's because I have my screen, I drag it to the smallest that it can be. So when I pulled
Uh-huh.
up those little icons, I couldn't see your name with your little icon next to your name. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Wait. I'm going to fix this now. Yeah. So I have to just drag my screen a little bigger. A new you me
Okay.
host and
I did that, so I thought that you knew that. That I need
no,
to go
no, I didn't
away
see that. Yeah. So,
for a few
okay.
minutes.
Okay. Well, I like that. I like that, Beena. But I have to have my window full screen. I have it smaller so that it's at the bottom so that you're behind my camera. Because if I make it full screen, then you and, whoever's up at the top usually, and then I sit looking up like this. Maybe I should do it with my camera up. But anyway, I like having the stuff underneath. I can see messages coming, other stuff. So I like that
Okay.
multitasking. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so now it's not.
Okay. Next time I'll send you a message privately.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I have to make the screen almost halfway up
Oh,
before I start to see. Well, now it's two names. If it was just one, I would have seen it without. I'll just leave it as one because there. So yeah, okay, I can leave it. I like using these. They're pretty cool. They're pretty
hmm.
cool. Okay, but I still have to click on participants to see it. It doesn't pop up on the screen, so it's not the
Oh.
most ideal mechanism where
Okay.
where
I will send
yeah,
you a text.
it's much better with the private message, yeah, because then the chat thing comes yellow, and it says, oh, you've got a message. So I do see that.
Yes.
So that's better, yeah. Okay, okay. All right, cool. All right. So any thoughts, takeaways? It's hard to see Erica low on energy, but it's hard for me to see anybody low on energy, really. Yeah.
But it
Yeah,
is
it's an
good.
important lesson to see that we mustn't assume, and when people are low energy, that they're upset or bothered or stressed or whatever. It's just low energy sometimes, and to be aware of it in ourselves. You know,
And also,
we're feeling
uh,
down, and sometimes just low energy, right?
yes, and also, uh, Erica, I feel good that Erica is actually sharing that yes, I am feeling a bit low in energy.
Mm,
This is really good. She is actually opening up
yeah,
herself
yeah,
and accepting that okay, yes, this is what I'm feeling.
yeah.
This
Not
might
perfect all the
not
time.
be the regular thing for her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Acknowledgement of vulnerability, in other words. Yeah.
Yes, you're
Yeah, to
good.
see what we need to see for ourselves in others.
Yeah.
Right? Look, can you see what I'm
Yes.
doing?
Yes.
Have you tried the stewed
What?
apples yet?
Oh no.
No.
This thing is still not.
It's pending. It'll come. It'll come. Oh, I forgot my raisins. Oh, I feel like raisins now. The raisins with the stewed apples, oh, adds a lot. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not sure when to put them in. I think I have to just pop them in right at the very end, so they just warm up. Uh,
Oh, otherwise they will swollen up and like
yeah,
okay, very gooey and oh no.
yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah. So just throw them in at the end. When I put it in my plate already, I can just add
Yes.
a couple of raisins because it's very nice. The raisins go very well with the apples. What about that? All right.
I don't know, but Farouk is just like a huge fan of raisin,
Oh, I love
figs,
raisins too.
and dates.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I like figs and dates too, but especially raisins. Yeah, and sultanas. Does he like sultanas?
Well, raisins are. Oh yes,
Yeah, because we don't call them. They don't call them
and
sultanas. Yeah, they call them golden raisins, but you call them sultanas, right?
uh,
The
no,
the, the yellow raisins.
yes, but we have a different name for that. It is called
Oh,
munaqqa. It is.
oh,
It's an Arabic word for that.
oh. All right. In South Africa, they were called sultanas. I don't know why, but
And no, we have different remedies like herbal remedies. I am not sure it is for fever or something else. I'm not sure. I will ask my mother. What she do with a black peppercorn in the sultanas and saute it like a bit, heat it,
wow. So you take
and
you put a peppercorn inside the raisin and saute it.
yes, yes,
Wow,
and like they really
that's
heat
wow.
it. And when they heat it, then they give it to okay chew that with the peppercorn in that. I'm not sure for what.
Can you ask her right
Fever or
now?
cough.
I'm very curious. This is a very unusual
I
remedy.
guess
I
uh,
mean, to
I guess for
somebody
cough.
to come up with it, how did they come to this? It fascinates me. Do you know what I mean? How did they come to know that this would be the thing for this particular ailment? I'm very curious to know what it's for.
Okay, Mama
What
won't
did
come
you
out.
guess it's for? Oh, never mind.
I guess it is a bit for cough. I guess
Hmm. Hmm. Is she there? Can you ask her?
maybe. I'm not sure. I will ask Mama. And one other thing, which is really
I mean, is she
no,
not there
she's
now
coming
to ask
because
that
I
you
know
can
that
go
she
and
will
ask
come
her?
here. So
Oh, oh,
one, yes, yes, no, she's coming.
oh.
So one thing is really particular. Again, like this thing. I don't know what is the name of that thing. It's a very small granules, even smaller than poppy seed.
Mustard seed?
No, smaller than poppy seed.
Oh, well,
Have you ever
mustard
seen
seed
that?
are very small. Caraway seeds? I
No.
don't know.
Oh, mustard seeds are bigger than poppy seed.
Oh, oh, okay. I thought mustard seed was one of the
And this
smallest seeds.
seed, you do no. Poppy seeds are way smaller than mustard seed,
Oh,
and that particular seed is even smaller than
oh. You can
poppy
ask
seed,
mom when she comes too.
and they are red in color. But
Mm,
and what mama do is when someone feels fever but not having any temperature, they feel in their
mm,
body.
mm.
Oh, that I'm feeling I'm having a
I have
fever,
that. I have that
but
quite
the
regularly.
temperature is just normal.
Yeah,
So, oh,
yeah.
what mama do is just make a roti and put that inside, like okay, like a stuffing of that seed,
Mm,
and then they make roti and like do it like very nicely roasted, like make the roti red,
mm.
and then open the roti and take out all the seeds like with a spoon or something, and then they eat and they give these seeds
For the fever.
to eat.
Wow. For the
Yeah.
pretend fever.
Yes.
Mm, interesting. Wow.
Oh
Oh, yeah, I'd like to know what these seeds are, because maybe I can just eat them
yeah.
or use them as a spice. I don't know if it has to go inside the roti like that.
uh,
We'll have to ask Mama,
mm,
but we'll see.
okay, what do you call it?
So two
Just a
questions to
sec.
ask.
Yes.
All right. So
Yes,
I'm assuming
certainly.
rebooting the computer didn't fix the camera issue. Yes.
Nothing works.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Nothing
What
works.
puzzles me though, Beena, is that the external camera doesn't work either. And you did test this external camera on another computer to see that it works, right? It does work. It worked on Dushka's computer, yes? I thought you said you tested it. Beena, where'd you go?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in case they're both broken, which is a possibility. So we know that that camera does work, the USB camera, right?
But at least it needs to be accessible. No, even if that camera, it might, okay, could be broken, but still it needs to be accessible.
Hmm. Hmm. I'll
Oh,
have to do some
okay.
more research. I'll have to do some more research to figure out, camera not working on Chromebook. That would be the Google search. Yeah.
Camera not working on Google.
Yeah, I'm
So they
serious.
said that you
That's
might,
that's what
it might be broken.
searching on Google. It came up in the session with Erica while you were away. Google searching is an art. It's a skill, but you can take it to a next level and it becomes an art. And when you really know how to use Google searching, it's a big difference to what you get just putting in whatever. So yeah, it makes a big difference to leverage Google searching. So it's a very big deal. It's not simple. It's an art to it. You have to balance your left brain and your right brain. That's what the whole conversation was about, Beena. That Erica is needing, she was talking about, I think you were still there when she said she ended up in IT, and she didn't mean to be in IT. It's not what she would have chosen. All before she started working, she was always involved in stuff, literature, arts, something that's right brain. That's
Mm.
what she called it, right brain, right? And so this, when she got into it, it's a big story. She was sharing about her mom, and her mom said, mom was a teacher. She's got a master's in teaching and all this, but yet she ends up working for peanuts, and it compromised her. She ended up being dependent on her mother, and she was in a relationship that was a bad relationship because of financial reasons. She was financially dependent on it.
Mhm.
The teacher wasn't allowed her to get out of that, and it messed up her life. In other words. So her mom said to her, do your passion essentially in your spare time and choose something that is, that you can have financial independence, right? So this is how Erica got into the corporate world, right? So she set
Mm.
aside her passion, but I see it in the bigger, longer term, the overview to make sense of things in the abstract of now, in this making sense that Erica learned to balance her right brain and her left brain, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
you see for yourself too your little bit of activity. Well, it's not that little. I mean, you did a whole course in programming and that, which is a very profound left brain thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And how your balance of left brain, your ability to be logical, right?
Ah, yes.
Oh no, I'm just pausing because I thought Mama must maybe coming, and so you can
Mm-hmm.
talk to her. Anyway.
No, she's not here. She'll come.
Oh, it was somebody else. Okay. Anyway, so you see how for you this ability to balance left and right brain is very important, right? To think
Ah,
logically and sensibly, but at the same token to make allowance for intuition and for the moreness and for all of spirituality and everything. It's very important we balance left brain and right brain. It's very critical.
absolutely.
And this is what
Absolutely.
when we look at Erica's and camera light. Okay. Nothing happened. Trying the video call. Oh, okay. That's old messages. When we look at Erica's notes, right, we see something magical. Her notes, right? Did you see when she
Mm.
was screen sharing her notes?
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right. I mean, and we just saw a portion of it there. When she scrolls up and you see more, it's like whoa. That her notes are a magical representation and illustration of the balance between left and right brain. There's artistry to her notes, but there's also
Yes.
profound organization, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
systemization and all of this, right? So this is the balance of left and right brain. It's a very big deal to balance it. And this is what when you look at my mind map, right? And Erika loves that mind map also. This is why people like that mind map, because they see the left and the right brain represented there, the balance. There's a lot of artistry in that mind map. Yeah, it's not just a list of things. There's artistry involved in that. The way it's put together. That's why people react so to it. One of the reasons. Yes, it's profound too, but the artistry is a big point in it. So it's a big point. It's a big point. It's a big point. So yes, balance between left and right brain. And now Erica's looking at her life and all of her decisions and decision making to say that when you make them impeccably, they're always right. It's as simple as that. There is no best decision. You make it, and your choice makes it good. And besides, our ability to adapt allows us to take, even if it wasn't the most ideal decision, and we find out, we can make it into a good decision just through our sheer force of will and sensibility and adaptability and appropriateness. So doesn't matter what we choose. Doesn't matter, really. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it can in short term, but there's always a way to adapt to things and change it, and so it's never the end of the world. In other words, what we choose doesn't matter in the big picture. Yeah, the only thing that matters is to choose them impeccably. I asked Erika, so I asked her for examples of decisions she made impeccably and that were mistakes. And then I asked her, were there decisions that you made that you knew weren't quite impeccable and weren't right? And she said, yes. In a sense, it was sort of that she was in this job, and the last one she was in, and it was very stressful for her. And then she ended up having an operation with something to do with the womb. It's a very big deal, but it comes from stress. I always forget the name. I can't pronounce it. She'll say it again anyway. So, but she knew that she was under stress, but she didn't want to leave the job. Inappropriate application of goodness. Sticking with it, loyalty, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. But she knew it was wrong to be there, but she didn't want to leave because she didn't have an option, another option. And this is what we're talking about not choosing. That was a profound example of where she had to not choose. Even though she didn't have an alternative option, she had to choose to get out, which she did eventually, but it took her a long time to do so. And of course, being in a situation now where she doesn't have a replacement, where she didn't just go from one job to another, has enabled her to have the time and space to do the program. And I was saying,
just hold on, sir.
doing the program.
Mama is here.
Oh, okay. Hello, Mama.
मम्मा वो जो बुखार भी रहे थे क्या कहते हैं खांसी अच्छा ये जो खांसी होती है ये और इससे और तरह भी खाई जा सकती है रोटी में पका के वो जो रोटी में तो आप बनाते हैं वैसे बॉईल करके पी लेते हैं मुनक्का अच्छा वो भी उसके साथ मुनक्का के साथ अच्छा वो जो मुनक्का में वो रखते हैं वो काली मिर्च वो किसके लिए वो भी मतलब हम किसके लिए
And the black peppercorns and the seed and the raisins and the black peppercorn, what was that for?
Okay, sorry, say it again.
What was the raisins and the peppercorns for?
Oh yes, I asked her.
You did. Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
I just heard roti, you see, so I didn't hear. It didn't sound like you were asking that. So
I said about munakka. That okay, munakka and khaksir about roti and also. The word was khaksir, and what I saw here, if you can see on my screen, I'm sharing the screen.
I can't. I have to finish this. Try my hands because I don't have Zoom on top right now, but I will in a second. So hold on one moment. I'll use my tray cloth because I don't want to get my mouth sticky. You know what I mean? Apple juice all over it. Okay. Oh, I have to go. Okay, so first of all, what's the recipe? What's it for? The raisin and
it is for throat and nasal congestion. and chest congestion. Like, okay,
So it's actually
when
ideal for corona.
ah ah yes. Mhm.
So the one for throat and nasal congestion is the raisin with the peppercorn inside.
Yes, yes.
And you said you saute it, you said?
Ah, yes, you can just put it in the oven and just slightly roast it. That's it.
All right. Okay, and this is called kakshir?
Oh, this one is the other one. I was talking about the small granules like seeds.
Ah,
This is what they call it,
and
haksir.
haksir,
Yeah, hakshir in
kakshir. Okay.
Persian. So,
Oh,
uh,
diarrhea and
yeah,
removing
they say
fecundity. Oh, that's interesting use of the word fecundity. What the hell do they mean? Oh.
what did where they say that?
Boiling kakshir is helpful for removing simple diarrhea and removing fecundity. I don't know what they mean by fecundity. I take the word to mean something else completely different to here. I'll have to go look it up. Kakshir. This is poor. This is very poor English here.
Oh yes.
Kakshir is urinating. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Kidneys cures measles and scurvy. I would imagine, not scars. I wouldn't say it
Mm,
cures measles.
mm.
Otherwise, it would have been used a long time ago. Highs and inflammation. So the name of that seed is called kakshir.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And okay, it's from a plant, a flower, a
Oh,
tree, or
they
what?
call it fixweed. Fixweed.
Ah, fixweed. I see there. Yeah, but anyway, we can't trust this.
Oh
We look it
yes.
up elsewhere because the English is really poor here. So yeah, yeah. So maybe find another one because this is. I want to get a better source to
Please
know
see.
that. Yeah.
Okay. See,
Oh
these are
wow.
this.
Huh. You can get a headache from
Okay.
eating it. Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Okay. So, and Alan texted me. Alan.
Oh yeah. What do you have to
Okay.
say?
He was asking me about my ID card because
Oh
yesterday
yeah.
was the
I'm
day.
curious too. Oh,
Yeah.
it's good that Alan is on top of it. He helps me because when
Oh,
he
yeah.
comes, he's like on the dates. He must put it in his calendar.
Oh my God, he's so worried about that, and
Yeah,
he's
good
just
for him. Good for
continuously
him.
asking me.
Good for him. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Thank you. We gotta appreciate it, right?
Yes, and
I
I
burnt
got
my
this.
pot, my apple pot. Ah, man.
Oh,
Figure out how to make this apple, the recipe. And it was so, and the thing is, by the time it burns, by the time I smell it, it's too late.
oh,
And it made a big mess of the stove, so it overboils. So anyway, so now I'm putting the pot full of water. Let's see what the hell goes on now. And alive. The stove is very hot, this plate, so I'm going to put it on 6 instead of 9 and see what happens. Anyway, through the little hole, there's just one little venting hole in the lid, and it's you made the whole stove was covered in stuff. So okay, but I'm not gonna put the sugar in. I'll put it in the beginning so it can draw in, but I'll put it in at the end. So I think that made for the mess too, and the burning. It made it worse, right?
yes. I'm replying him. So,
Replying to him, yes.
okay, I'm replying to him.
Yeah. In Urdu, do you say replying him without I don't know what the
No, no,
preposition or
no.
whatever?
No, we have prepositions for that.
Okay, okay. Curious. All right. Today is Tuesday. Yes. So I messaged Benny. He's down in Phoenix, in Peoria, and he said he's setting up tents. He's got a lot of camping equipment. He's setting this up for homeless people. Quite
Ah, yes.
fascinating. So I
Ah,
got
yes.
the impression that it was somehow connected to the virus, but he didn't say it. It was just my impression. There's no reason. So I must ask him, if it's connected in some way. Like how come he's doing it now? Or so
Hmm.
very interesting.
Okay. So,
Interesting.
what about Justin and group?
I have heard nothing whatsoever. I have no idea. My feeling is Justin's not coming back.
Uh-huh.
The whole thing is gonna die. Yeah, look, Sherry even said so.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we always knew that this thing wasn't long-term viable, but they can't go on a tour now.
Oh God.
Besides which, I don't understand why they had to have the base for the buses here in Clarkdale, on this open lot. It didn't make sense. If you're going to be doing a tour, why do you need this, And why do you need the container to store stuff and the house for people to stay? Aren't you going to be out on the road doing stuff? This was a weird thing. Gosh, Beena, a piece of
Mm-hmm.
cheese in my beard and he didn't tell me. Beena, but tell me, Beena, please. I usually try and pay attention when I eat, especially, but I was kind of in a hurry and I was eating while I was talking, so what can you do? What can
High maintenance.
you do? I need assistance with my high maintenance bean.
Yes. Yes.
So Justin went back to Washington D.C. I
Mhm.
think him and David flew back, and then David from there flew to Ghana. He hangs out in Ghana, in Africa.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Anyway, um, but I don't think he's fully aware of all of the Corona stuff because they're out there. But now when he
Mm.
gets home and his mother, and their concern and all this, his mother doesn't really want him there. I don't think because he causes him stress.
Oh.
She said so.
Mm-hmm.
She
My
said he
concern is
causes her
that
stress.
my concern is that at least okay, now 5 more months, nobody other than you living here in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
place. That's
yeah,
it.
exactly. So to me, with the whole coronavirus, they can't really. That's what Cherry said. Well, they can't really go touring with it. Um, and and when he's there, his mom's going to say, no, you can't be traveling about, go on the plane again. It's high risk. And, the restrictions are starting to amp up now. A few
Yes.
days ago, they weren't people so
Y-
specifically saying, you can't have group meetings of more than 10 people and all this. Now, Trump even put out a thing to say, oh, no more than 10 people, very sloppy,
Yes,
messy thing.
please, please.
Right. Oh, I meant to say I tried to stay away from politics with Sherry because Tom, her boyfriend, is sort of a Trump, but they just like you heard the stuff that she's talking about. Oh, it's just coronavirus, a political thing. Come on, man! For heaven's sake, just think this through. Thousands of people are dying, and they're going to be dying. Like it's going to be when you're done with this, there's probably going to be tens of thousands of people dead. Somebody
Yes.
started this for political reason. Come on, you're risking yourself. You can't control an epidemic. It's just idiotic.
I was not
It's
really
annoying.
considering that
It's annoying the idiocy.
that politics uh, could be an issue. I was not considering it, but now really seriously, I feel that yes, political affiliation
Yeah,
is an issue
yeah.
for any kind of relationship,
Mm-hmm.
just even simple
Oh yeah,
friendship,
oh yeah, oh yeah,
because
oh yeah.
these people are in totally different ways. Like okay, like
I,
see, Thomas,
it's not what
he's
they
a very
believe;
dear
it's
friend.
how they believe. This is the
Yeah.
issue. If you now, in this case, you starting to say, "Oh, She heard now from Tom probably. Oh, this coronavirus is a thing started by Trump's political enemies to embarrass him. They just take this on face value as this could be something real, but they don't think it through. How does it embarrass him? Only if he deals with it poorly. If he deals with it well, it's going to make him look better. It's an after the fact justification. He's dealt with it poorly. He's already embarrassed himself by dealing with it poorly. And they don't think, but he's dealt with it poorly. He's embarrassed himself. If he dealt with it well, he wouldn't have embarrassed himself. They don't think.
Yeah.
It's astonishing the lack of thinking it through. So now this becomes a reason. Oh, it's to embarrass Trump. It's the same thing with releasing his tax returns. I said, oh, they just want to get Trump to release his tax returns because it's going to embarrass him. Think about what you are saying. If it's going to embarrass him, that means there's something wrong with his tax returns. You'd think if he was this wonderful, fantastic, super businessman that he says he is, he would be proud to share his tax returns. And the way he brags about everything, if there was something to brag about in his tax returns, he would have shared them a long time ago. So, the fact that it's embarrassing is the thing that you should be concerned about. That, oh, there is something in his tax returns that's embarrassing to him? Oh, wow, I didn't realize that until you said, oh, his enemies want to release it. They said it's embarrassing, not me. I just want to see what's in there. Or people who are, it's just fascinating, the logic, how they create things to justify an idea. They don't look at the objective reality. They use it to justify their positions and points. And logic be damned, objectivity be damned. And they say all of these profoundly self-contradicting things. So this is what we are looking. We are looking for an openness and an objectivity outside of belief. And when people are hell-bent on proving their ideas at the expense of rationality and logic, this is a warning signal and a red flag to say, stay away.
Oh,
This is Thomas,
and
this is Paul, this is Ryan. You know, you
uh,
see, Alan makes an effort to objectively verify and justify his positions, right?
mm, I don't get it. What it means?
Okay, so what Alan believes, he's not believing it because it's a Democrat that says so.
Hmm.
He's believing it because there's some valid, legitimate reason to do
Oh
so,
yes. Oh
regardless of
yes.
who says it. And
Oh
he's very
God.
scrupulous
Yes.
about checking his positions, right? If a
Hmm.
Democrat came and said something ridiculous, he's going to be say, hey, wait a second, this is nonsense you're talking here, right?
Yes. And what Thomas says that Beena, how can you be in favor of people who are uh, trying to legitimize, I guess this is a proper word,
Oh, it is
for
a proper word. Oh, yeah.
legitimize abortion.
Oh, he said this.
Yes.
Alan.
No.
Alan said,
No. Thomas.
oh, Thomas.
Um,
Oh, right,
yeah,
right,
Thomas
right.
is continuously asking me that, Beena, how can you be in favor of people who are murdering kids, children?
What?
They are killing. They are trying to
Right,
kill
right.
legally.
I know. But this is just an idiotic propaganda argument. It's like, Thomas, first of all, go and actually research what exactly bloody hell abortion actually is. Know what you are talking about. Nobody is killing children. When you actually abort a fetus, you are aborting something that's the size of your pinky's nail or your thumbnail, right? It's smaller than a
No, they're
dime.
saying that, no, he's saying that they are trying to legalize abortion even after, like, okay, killing
Right.
kids after
But this is
birth.
again say, okay, Thomas, fine. Please bring me the official notification and where the people who are doing this have said this themselves and not their political enemies. It's total rubbish. There's not a single point person in the Democratic establishment liberal who has recommended abortion past short-term abortion, past the whatever it is, 6 weeks or whatever it is, where a fetus is no longer a fetus, where it starts to become a child. Nobody has ever proposed this law, ever. Never. Even when they were in charge and they had the power and the ability to do it, where there was a full Democratic Congress and a full Democratic president, but they could have passed this law already, and they never tried. It's absolute rubbish. It's just complete idiocy. It's
But
propaganda.
he was trying to make me like really feel
Yeah,
guilty of that. Veena, how can you?
right.
And I
But
said,
it's
okay.
propaganda. It's just
At
sorry.
first, I am not American citizen.
Yeah,
Yes, indirectly, American president and American policies are worldwide policies and a worldwide. Okay, I can say
yeah,
that world
yeah,
president because somehow, not technically, but yes, somehow he is.
yeah.
Whoever become American president, because they are America is a superpower and they are controlling economy and everything. So okay, so but still, I'm not able to vote. I'm not living
Right,
there, so I am not into that politics. Of
right,
course, I have no concern
right,
with that.
right, right.
And second thing is that I don't know what they are doing. What is your system? But he was expecting that because we are really good friends, and he called me like, okay, you're my best friend. So I need to support him in every way. What
Yeah,
is this?
yeah. No, it's
This is
rubbish.
something I can't do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for that thing, which I'm not completely aware of.
Right, right,
I don't know the system.
right,
I don't know the
right.
policies. How can I debate about that?
Yeah,
How can I just
exactly,
say,
exactly. But in this particular case, it's very
but
annoying with abortion. This idea that people like Thomas have come to believe, probably literally and for real, if you put him in a lie detector, believes there are people who are trying to make full term abortion legal. Nobody's trying to do that. In exceptional cases, yes, when it is the choice between the life of the mother or the baby, or
hmm,
you lose them both if you don't abort. This is it's a slam dunk decision that you've got to abort the child to save the mother's life, otherwise you lose them both. This is just idiocy,
hmm,
you know. This is where full term abortion comes in exceptional rare circumstances where you're forced to do it, otherwise you're going to lose both the mother and the baby. Now they've taken on this, they've seized on it, the anti-abortion people, of course. Their agenda isn't to save lives, no, their agenda is to say
oh,
I care. This is what their agenda is. But anyway, so this is a complete false propaganda idea that people like Thomas sees on and he doesn't do his homework. You just believing that this is so. Just think about it. Who in their right mind, exactly your choice? How can you support somebody who wants to kill babies? Yes, think about that, Thomas. Really think about it. Nobody wants to go and kill babies. And beside which, they just think abortion is killing babies. It's not. When the thing that gets aborted is literally the size of your thumbnail. It's this tiny little
yeah.
nothing. Essentially, what it is a fertilized egg. This is what you're aborting. You're not aborting no child, no baby, no nothing. It's a fertilized egg that you're aborting. So get real and understand what it's about. And this is why there's that cutoff time of the 6 weeks or whatever. And there's a big leeway there, right? In that time, it's still very clearly a fertilized egg. And then sometime after 6 weeks, it starts to develop into a baby. Then there's no immediate cutoff. They're leaving plenty room for error there. So that's why there's that time. So come on,
I
man.
think
What would say, really?
I guess that this is something attached him to him personally.
Yeah.
Maybe his wife, his ex-wife now, might be in that situation or something. So that's he's just
No,
looking at.
it might be Bina, but I think too in most of the cases people get all up in arms with abortion because their lives are a mess and they're full of nonsense and they do many things which are indulgent, right? And so they look for a way to prove I'm a good person. To be anti-abortion is one such clear proof.
Oh, okay, yes,
This is
because
what
he
they're all
says that.
about. And look how good I am. Look, I care. I care. It's a justification to make up for the fact that they aren't really so good. Thomas does lots of things. I'll bet you anything. I don't have first-hand experience or seen it, but I'll bet you anything he does stuff that he's not proud of, that he doesn't like, that he's not comfortable with, that he's a bit squirrely, and he takes advantage of the system and stuff like that. He's not always
He
impeccable. In other words.
he is been in prison for 20 years. So
Oh, well, there you go. 20 years he was in jail, Thomas.
yes, yes.
Wow, that's a big deal. Now, do you know what for?
No,
Other
he
than
never told
drugs.
me.
Wow. I mean, he could have been in, and if he was in it for drugs, it would have had to been for distribution, not just possession. 20 years is
Oh,
a long sentence, Beena. Do you know when he got out?
I'm sorry.
When did he get out of jail?
Uh, I don't know the American system because when he became my friend, like two
Uh,
years back, he was in the center. It was kind of an mid arrangement from prison to normal world, I guess.
right, right. He was in a halfway house. He was on on
Okay.
on 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 parole.
Oh, okay.
That's what
So
you call
he
it.
was
When
not.
in other words, parole is when they let you out early, and it's a supervised release.
No, he was living in a confined area, and he
Yeah,
was not able to move independently.
correct.
Government or
Yeah,
vehicle was taking him to work and taking him
right,
back, and
right. So he
they were
was
living
likely on
together at
parole,
that
yeah, and
place.
living at a halfway house. They call them usually. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. But 20 years, that's a serious sentence. That's a very serious sentence, and like I said, typically that's for, rape, murder, armed robbery, stuff like that, or
Hmm.
drugs. But then he would have had to have been involved with the distribution of drugs. You're not going to get that just for being a low-level peon, just buying and selling, and the guy standing on the corner. No, you'd have to have been very seriously involved to get that kind of a sentence. So, wow,
Uh,
wow,
uh,
that's a big deal.
uh,
My
all of
guess
his
would be,
other.
my guess would be manslaughter.
What?
He lost his temper in a fight or something, and he killed somebody inadvertently, or even in a traffic accident. He was drunk, and killed somebody. Because then it's manslaughter if you're drunk and you kill somebody. You didn't mean to do it, but you still. And so you can. Some of the serious, even 20 years for manslaughter is quite a big thing. It's not usually that long, but it could be. But that would be my guess if it's not drugs. To just be my guess, but anyway, it's a guess. It's a guess. It's a guess.
Hmm. I don't know because uh,
Do you know what his
I
middle name
guess.
is?
No,
No.
I never asked a personal question.
Where
I
does
didn't
he
do that.
stay? Do you know where he lives?
Yes,
Ah, where does he stay?
he is in Georgia.
Where in Georgia?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't ask personal questions to anyone because and it is really strange for me uh, that uh, all his friends other than me know what happened to him. He shared with them,
oh, oh,
and I guess that he shared more details with them, but he never said this to me. And he said that Beena, I don't want to discuss this with you right now. And I said okay
oh.
because I never ask anyone any personal question unless or until it is really necessary or I feel concerned that might be something uh, bothering them now. Otherwise, I don't
Yeah.
ask.
And do you know if his name is Thomas is his first name or his second name?
His first name.
Because there's a John Thomas Stocks. No, that's Stocks, not Stock. Okay, Thomas Stock in Georgia, 28 records found. All right, let's see. Google. Google is magic.
Wow.
Thomas, how old is Thomas?
He is. I guess he born in 1976.
1976. So 76, 86, 96, 2006, 2016. That gives, no, 76 to 86 to 96 to 06 to 16. That's 40. So they were making 44.
Hmm.
That's about right from his picture, right?
Hmm.
Right? 16 to 20, yeah. 44. Wow. None of these, oh, that's quite young. So he did this as a young man. So all
Yes.
these criminal records, none of them are 44. Well, there's a bunch of
Uh,
Thomases here now that are, they don't
yeah.
show the,
I guess I can see.
uh, yeah. Oh,
I can search. I guess that when which one is year.
and if you have his birthday, that would help too.
He born in April.
Oh,
This
April
is I knew.
76.
Uh, okay, this might be on his Facebook also.
Oh,
You don't hide that. He might be caught up in a situation
yeah, yeah,
or set up in a situation. Who knows? Maybe
yeah.
someone set him up.
Oh, it's very possible. But if somebody's setting you up, that means you're involved with skullduggery of some kind. And so to prove that you're a good person, when you've been in jail for 20 years, and the fact that he doesn't tell you, that's quite revealing. I mean, he traces your opinion. In other words, yeah, that's interesting. Like I
But
said, Bina, that's a big deal. And has he ever talked to you about his time in prison and how he was and what I did to him, all this?
mm,
No, it's fascinating.
uh, he just told me that okay, I've been uh, there. The words were there, uh, like for 22 or 20, I guess. Yes, I think 2 years was the center time. He called it center.
Ah,
So
right. Okay. So yeah, yeah. So that is like it's a halfway house, a rehabilitation center. You come
mhm,
out and then you're under supervision, and they
yeah.
really acclimatize it because to be out of life for 20 years. I mean, if it was recent, then you wouldn't have known about iPhones and anything like this. Internet, all this would have been. When you went away, that was all new. And so they have
Mm.
to reacclimatize people. So. Yeah, so
Ah,
2 years in the center. It's the rehabilitation center, yeah, or climatizing center, or halfway house, whatever they call it. So yeah,
okay. So and he didn't. I think he tried to avoid to tell me
yeah.
or share details with me, especially. I don't know
Yeah.
because
Well, that means he carries a bit of shame about it, and he's a bit embarrassed about it, which is appropriate. He's
of
somebody like
course.
you who's very innocent and very pure. You might decide not to be his friend, so he's being protective, but he doesn't really know you. He doesn't know that this is not going to make a difference for you. Yeah.
I don't know because I feel really sometimes really feel sad about him
Mm.
because
Oh,
the
me too.
way
I agree. Yeah.
he is reacting in politics. I actually said to him that okay, please don't do this. It might hurt you, like your future also. You
Yeah.
have already been away for many years, and now it's a time for you to be really careful. Do
Yeah.
not get into debate and all these argument with other
Yeah.
people, or
And
and you can
especially
avoid this very
if he
easily.
did,
It
especially
is
if he
totally
did get into
unnecessary.
trouble because of his temper. That's why I'm saying manslaughter. I'm just putting it together with his temper and his ferocity, his passion. That he gets in a fight and you're in a bar fight
And
and he's a bit of a rough guy, and he kills somebody in the
yes,
bar fight, and that's manslaughter. There you go. Just for stupidity, you go away for a long time.
oh my God. And he's very physically very strong person, because he used to do a lot of things like workouts and all these
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
But when he's a nice man, because when he was in prison, so he was actually reading, and he read more than 5,000 books there, and and improve himself, I guess. So he was trying to be good, of course.
no.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely trying to be good. Yeah, yeah. People try and be good for different
I th-
reasons.
huh?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes people try and be good because they think they should, they're supposed to, and look at me, I'm not actually bad. Where it's a way to make up for the guilt and stuff like that. So just
Mm.
yes, there is goodness to it, but we have to be discerning,
Oh, okay.
pay
Okay,
attention. You know,
I understand
many
now.
people do profound things, all for just self-importance, just to look good.
Mm. But whatever it is, so he avoids that, and but he didn't lie. He told that okay, I was in prison, so okay, it makes sense that he don't want to discuss details. Might be, of course, he must be feeling embarrassed, or don't
Yeah,
want to lose his impression on me, maybe.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, many reasons. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard to say, precisely. Yeah.
So okay, but the problem is that he is still a short-tempered guy, and and still okay, not still, but very very aggressive about supporting Trump and gun laws, and abortion. And he said that Beena, it is really a serious business for me. And I said, okay, now it's your choice. You know that. You know better than me because it's your life. And I was a bit concerned about his,
Right,
his safety, because he was like losing all his friends
right.
and
But just
arguing with
they
everyone.
need to be a bit more discerning. This idiocy that they keep repeating, that people want to kill children and full-term babies. It's complete falseness. It's just absolute rubbish. And this is the problem, that he's believing stuff that isn't actually true. And this is very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous.
Oh, he's working at port. This is what I know.
He's working where?
At port.
No, I'm not getting this word. Say it again.
Okay, let me write it down here so you
Port,
can.
Port.
Yes.
Oh, okay. At a port. Okay, interesting. So at the harbor, in other words. Yeah, so you could have just given me the synonym for it, right?
Okay. Yes. So he's working there.
Yeah, interesting. That's a rough place too. But if he's only in his 40s, then he was a young man when this happened. He was 20.
Yes.
If he's 44 now, he was
Yeah.
22 when this happened.
Oh God.
That's to spend your life there, but who knows? It may have saved his life. He may have been dead otherwise if he hadn't gone there, and he didn't get the education, and he did. So who knows? Stuff works out. It's amazing. It's amazing how stuff works out.
He was married before going there,
Oh wow! And I'm
and
assuming he's not married anymore,
oh no, he's not married anymore, because must be, of course, a divorce or something legally.
unless it
So
involved his wife. Sometimes it's a car crash, and again. Manslaughter. He's drunk. His wife
No,
dies in
no,
a car crash. Oh, is it?
she's married to someone else now.
His best friend, probably. Or best friend then. That's. I know I'm being a little bit facetious, but usually that's how these stories go.
Oh, I don't know about that, but because again, I feel that these are questions. Of course, yes. At
Stay
one
away
side,
from.
these are
Stay away
personal
from.
questions, but also that I feel that the more I will get involved into these things,
Yeah.
the more I will be in their life. So I don't want to.
Yes. Appropriateness, being appropriate involvement. Yes. Very sensible, very strategic, very necessary, very appropriate what you are dealing with. But yes, we have to be very careful when making friends, not to go down one
Just
way
hold on,
street.
sir. Just hold on, please. Yes. हाँ हाँ
खाकसीर को
जी जी
काली मिर्च भी डालती
जी
हैं
जी
और ये
जी
भी।
बता दिया मैंने
हाँ
बता दिया
हल्दी दूध
जी बता दिया
ये तो बेहतरीन चीज है हल्दी दूध।
हाँ
हल्दी दूध तो बेहतरीन है कुव्वत मुदाफ़त उसके लिए।
जी
बिरयानी मैंने तो क्वांटिटी बता दी कभी डालती
नहीं 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 So Mama said, you were asking about Hakseer and Mulakka. Okay, sultanas and the seeds, tiny seeds. Just, these seeds needs to be taken very little in quantity, very small in quantity.
Yeah, sparingly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I never asked. Like I don't ask even my friends here in Pakistan. I don't ask them
No.
personal questions because my problem is that I do connect with people, do get connect with people on a very deeper level. So and it takes a lot of energy from me. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
deliberately
Yeah.
put myself
Yeah.
okay push
Yeah.
pull myself out of
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. 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 So involvement management, very important.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very important. Particularly in relationships. Particularly in relationships
Yes.
with the opposite sex as well. Not that
Hmm.
Thomas was looking to involve romantically, but in my experience, pretty much often in some kind of romantic involvement. It's just the way their brains work.
I feel that sometimes. Yes, I feel that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But he said that because he told me that he was in relationship with some Indian girls. So I thought that
Oh,
sometimes I do feel that his poetry and his things
yeah. Was
just
directed at
pointing
you.
out something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as he shared with me that he is in relationship, he was okay now. He was in relationship with Indian girl. So
Okay, Beena, I have to
I
tell you
just
something. I have
assume
to
what
tell you
he's saying is
something.
right.
With
Yes.
Western men and with women from either typically Eastern Europe or the West. It's not so much with African women, right? It's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Okay, so guys who have a problem with themselves in some way, who aren't fully confident, who feel compromised, like in Thomas, oh, I've been to jail, oh, I'm not going to be able to get a wife. They have an idea in their head, and it's a legitimate idea. I mean, there's a reality to it that there are women from particularly Eastern Europe and the East who will just marry you to come to America, right?
Ah, ah,
It
okay.
happens. I mean, there's even mail order brides. It's that old mail order. So when they feel compromised in their self confidence, they specifically look in those areas for a wife. Now, there's a fantasy too, in terms of how sometimes it's been portrayed in the movies and all of this, that these women are so grateful to be here that they'll basically, do anything for you. And that is, sometimes can be the case. But it's, of course, the women are grateful and they are willing to do anything. And they do end up, essentially, what they end up with is, a few steps removed from a slave, which for many male fantasies, this is ideal. Yes, they aren't technically a slave, but, they're dependent on you. They don't speak the language. They're so grateful to be here, and okay, they don't give you a hard time. They don't talk back to you. All this nonsense. I just wanna point this out to you so that you're aware of it. It's a stupid,
Oh.
childish thing, but you see how people like Thomas, who can be very sensible and sensitive in his poetry, can also be ridiculously stupid, like with the thing with the abortion. He has got no clue what he's talking about. It's absolute, complete propaganda figment that he just has believed somewhere. So, his mind is capable of believing stuff that's completely, utterly untrue. So, yeah, just to be aware.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
It just gave
I
me.
love I love that you're amused. I love that you're amused. This is very heartening to me. It is amusing. It is funny. It is ridiculous and preposterous. And I'm so pleased you're amused, because I was a little cautious to say it, because, like, I don't want you to take this thing the wrong way. But yeah, people think this nonsense. Why is it amusing for you? I'm very curious now. I love that it's amusing to you.
Yeah, because it is amusing for me because yes, it was funny when people uh, assume that because I'm from Pakistan, because I was not doing any job, and so I'm not able to. They assume that I'm not able to even talk, and having my own thoughts and opinion and perspective is something beyond their imagination even. And they were like, "Oh, she's from Pakistan," and even Thomas' friend said, "Okay, oh, your friend is from Pakistan. They don't know how to speak." And I was laughing because, okay, if they want to say that I cannot speak in English, okay, this might be the case. Okay, yes, it could be. But what do you mean by they don't know how to speak? I have my own language. Okay, but I was laughing. And now what you shared, it is really funny
Makes
for me.
sense. Yeah.
No,
So,
how can you even imagine that someone just be thankful and will say nothing and will do anything for you just to be in this country? What?
it's a fantasy. Remember, I said it's a fantasy.
It means that you might be dating with some maid. I'm sorry to say that
Yeah, but
some
that's what
maid or some.
happens. Well, Bina, in this, yes, it's a fantasy, but the reality is built on women who were in really, really terrible situations where they literally were slaves, right? In every way, where they were beaten and subjugated and raped constantly and all this. And they just
Oh God.
anything to
Oh
get
God.
out of this horrible situation. So they marry some,
Oh
fat,
yes.
overweight accountant who can't get a date, and they just too thrilled because the guy treats them kindly, he treats them nicely, he treats them with respect. They go shopping. And to them, this is a fantastic circumstance compared to the hell that they were living in. So, I mean, this is an actual
Oh.
reality that actually does happen. So this is where this
Hmm.
fantasy is born from,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
women
Hmm.
really come out of, where they were in prostitution and everything. And, the guy takes them out of it because he falls in love with them because, well, he also, he's desperate to have anybody to love. He doesn't care. He just sees a nice person. He doesn't care what they did before. So there's some reality to this. And of course, they're just too thankful. And, compared to the pigs that they were dealing with, here's the sweet, like I said, just for argument's sake, the sweet overweight accountant, just for the, or nerd or whatever, you know, just to use a stereotype. But, they don't have to be overweight, of course. But any guy who really is struggling with self confidence or whatever, you know, for a woman like that, I mean, this guy, compared to what she's aware of, he's just fantastic, you know. He
Ah.
doesn't abuse
Okay.
her, he doesn't smack her
Okay.
around. Okay, so I may get annoyed with her a little bit or whatever, but comparatively, it's fantastic. So, this is what the guys sort of realize, because this is a reality that has actually happened. So, it's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting when you look at it in the detail of everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there is some, but
Okay. So.
but and somebody who's like you, it's very amusing for them to think of this from you, but they don't make this distinction. They don't understand that there can be people in Pakistan that are more cultured than you. This is not part of some people's reality. This is too scary to think of. No, 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 no. Everywhere, America's the best, of course. Remember that, right? America's the best in everything. It's not true, of course. It's a complete and horrible lie. I mean, they lag behind in education. You know, when you look at the list of things that America's first in, really, the only thing that they're first in is military spending, really. You know, and wealth. You know, and median income. This, yes, their America's the best. If you now want to say this, they have the best military supposedly. It's just you can have a big military, but you can't use it because it's too expensive to use it. So if your economy can't afford it, you're going to bankrupt yourself using this massive military. So
Uh,
no, it's a self-correcting problem. But anyway,
mm,
when it comes to standard of living and household income, this America's, I think they have the highest, but I'm not sure. Maybe places like Sweden or or Switzerland or some other places, they may have higher now. I don't know. I'm not sure anymore. But it used to be always that America was by far the
uh,
highest.
mm.
But anyway,
Okay.
America thinks
Well,
it's the best in everything. So nobody else could possibly be more cultured and sophisticated than you. Not even cultured in the first place, really.
okay. But you are right that I am anomalous in many ways because uh, it is not something only for Americans or any foreigner for me, but even for my own country people
Yeah,
also.
I know. I know.
Because even in Pakistan, in my family, my cousins don't talk like this the way I do, even
Yeah,
in Urdu. Not I'm not talking about English.
yeah,
In
yeah.
Urdu, they don't do that. And some of them, my aunties, they were assuming that we do talk like the way we talk in front of them, and they were saying, okay, no, they just do, they act. And my mother was laughing. My mother said, no, my kids actually talk like this, like every
Oh, they thought
moment.
you were putting it on for them when they
Yes.
come to visit. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what
And
they
mama,
do. People assume that what they do, others must be doing the same. They can't imagine that
yeah.
people don't do what they do.
Oh yes, and my father, because though we were very young, but my father, because he didn't do that, all the school of thought, religious school of thought choosing, and he says he clearly mentioned to my mother that okay, they will choose what they want to. So it was like okay, whatever we can choose. It's a really huge deal, but it plants a seed in our mind that yes, we have this uh, ability, we have this right, we have this um, capability also to choose what we want to. So this thing gives us really, really confidence. But on the other side, my mother's upbringing is very Eastern also because it is like, okay, yes, because it is in my upbringing to do not argue in the heated, like never uh, participate in heated argument.
Yes, good,
It's
Beena.
better.
Keep that up. Keep that up, especially with me.
Yeah.
Please never get into that with me. Please promise yourself never, ever, ever to do that. Because I get all
She
excited
says, okay, it's
very
better to
quickly, and
leave
I
and
don't
let
ever.
things sink in and
Yes,
okay, just
yes,
relax.
yes. I don't want to ever argue with you, Beena. Please, never, ever, ever, never. Really, I really don't want to. It's a line. Once you cross that line, it's too easy to go back to
Yeah.
it. So never, please, never, ever, ever. Really, really, I can't emphasize how important this is. Okay,
So
we make a pact.
it is.
We make a pact. You
Yes.
know how they do the thing with their hands, and then
Yes. Yes.
make a pact.
Yes.
One, two, three, rah, 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 hoorah.
Yeah.
Americans love these rituals of theirs.
Yeah, because this is what my mother did. She was the boss in my in my father's place. Okay, yes, in our home she was the boss, but
Yes, yes,
she
this is
never
appropriate.
been in argument with my father. They
Oh,
never
good.
did.
Oh,
And
good.
she always said that, Beena, it was never been the case. Okay,
Oh,
not
good.
in front of you. Okay, no. Even when you
Right.
guys were not there, not born yet, we never argued with
Oh, good, good,
each other.
good. I want the
Because
same for us,
sometimes,
Beena, to never argue.
yeah, she says that,
Okay?
okay, sometimes, yes. My mama says that, yes, sometimes we do fall into some temperament mode. Sometimes we have stress. We are human, but it's up to other person to not get involved into that. Okay, just leave it for a few minutes, for a few hours. Okay, you can leave that thing, and then okay, later on you can discuss. So, but people assume that because I am Muslim, because I am Pakistani, because I'm Eastern, so it is like a kind of a slavery thing. I will never say anything to my husband.
Right.
No, it's about basic human mutual respect.
Yeah.
It's about
I think there's a lot of Muslim husbands who are very surprised at how much independence and spirit and opinion their wives have, and how
yes.
they end up actually, despite all their macho nonsense on the outside, that
Yeah.
who really rules the house is the wife, and who's in charge of them. I'll bet you there are many women out there who will take complete charge of their wimpy husbands, and you're the boss of them in every possible way. So,
Amma says that yes, okay, because my home is my domain. Even not my husband's. Okay, if my home is my domain, I do everything. But it doesn't mean that he is my slave or I am his slave. No,
correct.
no. So Beena, not only to me, but of course to my sisters also.
About
She
appropriateness, in
always
other
just make sure
words.
that Beena, just
But
keep mutual respect
your mom
always.
is not a usual woman in any environment. Never mind
In
Pakistan.
many senses, yes,
It's very exceptional. But
yes,
your mom is also
yes.
part of a culture, and so was your father,
Yeah.
of a very sophisticated, and you could call it upper class if you like. It's got nothing to do with money, but it is an upper class culture. It is one of refinement and sophistication and consideration. And this is it's a refined culture, that's what upper class culture is. So that's what they're part of, and money's got nothing to do with it. Yes, it is easier to be that way with money, but your mom stayed in that culture despite not having money and having had money. Yes, because your father
Oh,
had
yeah.
money, right? So
Okay, my mother was actually all her childhood and teenage spent with the family of like family friends of my grandfather, and that family was they later on became president of Pakistan, and they were
right,
landlords, and so
right.
they were living together. So my mother was uh, brought
She
up
grew
by.
up in the upper
Yes,
echelons of society. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and and my father also he was not in those in that environment, but he made himself like this.
He made himself that environment. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, incredible. Right. So that's a big thing, Beena, and that's what I was saying about appropriateness. You working at Arts Council. I'm sorry, not appropriate. Not because of a hierarchy state, superiority thing, but you're willing to do it. It's not appropriate. You make people uncomfortable. They don't know what to do with you.
Yes,
You
you're
don't
right.
belong in that situation. You just don't. I'm sorry. Right?
Yes, though I tried to be, because Alan said, Beena, never go arts council with your usual clothing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and make sure to not stand out by any means, and mm,
Right.
and especially
Right.
about clothes.
Yeah.
She,
You've paid your
he
dues and
was
you've done your due diligence, and yes, you've paid. It's like an internship. Like the kids, they come. Doesn't matter if you're the president's kid or whatever. You've got to put your time in at the bottom. All right, you've done your time now, Bina. Time to move where you belong.
okay.
See
So
what I mean?
he
If you look at it from
yes,
that point of view,
yeah.
like yes, you can do it. You can do it, and you can do it, and you're not above doing it. And if you really have to, you will do it. But it's about appropriateness. That's all. And the people that are there, they are uncomfortable with you being part of and being one of them. they don't know what to do with you. It makes them uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't say with you, good people trying hard to be good.
Hmm. You muted yourself. No, I can't hear this. Yep. You need to unmute yourself.
I didn't mean to mute myself. Sorry,
Hmm.
it was accidental.
Oh,
Full attention on the breath. Can you hear, Connie?
yes.
Just what she's doing. It's a live. She does every Tuesday, a yoga thing, kind of a freebie. Whenever you're done with your third breath,
But again, so
you can gently open your eyes and notice wherever you are. Notice being present here. I don't know, this kind of stuff. I don't care much for. I know people love it and all of Sedona into it. I don't get anything out of it.
your your logical mind
I
will
guess,
get
but
with it.
right. But I think there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of, I don't know, a lot of belief that is in it. They believe it to be good, but it's not really founded on anything.
Mm-hmm.
See the candles in the background?
Yes.
I mean, let's do a little bit of movements of the neck. So as you exhale, go ahead and turn your head to
Mm.
probably your right. If you're looking at me the way I'm seeing this show up on the video, and breathe there for a moment. Gently turning your head, relax your shoulders, let them drop. And then as you inhale, come back to center. And as you exhale, turn your head to the other side. Shoulders dropping, head turning mindfully. Feeling the opening in the side of the neck. One more breath. No. I don't know. I
No.
have to watch a bit more, but it just intrigues me. And when I listen to them, and now Connie she's a minister and she's a therapist, legitimate therapist in terms of legal,
Mm.
because there's differences, right? I mean, um, like the therapy that Sue does. This is not legal therapy, and actually, she needs to be careful about using the word therapy. There's a legal connotation to it, and you need to have credentials to actually say you do therapy. She works with energy, chakras, and balancing stuff like that. So it's a
Two?
new, yeah, yeah. It's quite surprising, right?
Oh, I thought that she's a counselor.
Mm. I mean, yes, she
Mm-hmm.
calls it therapy and counseling, but it's about, you'll have to ask her specifically what she says. But it's
Mm-hmm.
essentially it's a new age thing. It's a I would call it a woo woo thing. But hey, people get value out of it. She gets value out of it. But she's not something that you go that, well, she may have done a course and got a certificate somewhere, but it's not something that officially recognized as. In other words, I don't think she will get insurance to pay for her client sessions, right? Whereas
Mm-hmm.
with Connie, she can have clients which their insurance will pay for them to go to it because it's an officially sanctioned thing. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
You go
that
to a
makes sense.
university, you get a degree, and the court you're assigned to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's somebody has to have credentials. So there's lots of things. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
who make big money out of insurance. Like if we could in some way get wave impeccability to be insurance approved, oh man, you know, then people like Joyce, okay,
Ah.
put it on your insurance. Erica, when in a job, I'm stressed, it's a stress management. Boom, okay, here you go. Instead of going to therapy, you do this. So and then the insurance pays for it. Yeah, it's incredible.
Mhm. So what is the procedure for that? What
Oh,
are
I
the
would have to
credentials
get
that requirement?
all into that thing, and no, to get all approved in that, to get all in bed with government. I don't want any of that. No,
Oh,
no, no, no,
okay.
no. It's a rigmarole, and it's a quagmire, and you get sucked into. I mean, this is bureaucracy over the
Yeah,
moon.
so yes, okay. Today was something really important because now I do understand more that why Thomas is behaving in that way,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah. They
and
want to
uh,
prove they
what
are good.
might be the reason for
Yeah,
all these things.
but
And also that what my other FP friends are might be
yes,
assuming.
yes. But it comes up with Sherry
Mhm.
also. So yes, I took my opportunity a little bit to point out, because Sherry won't argue politics with me, but I'm basically indirectly getting it for her to start questioning, and to question Tom a little bit, but to say, well, this doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
He just believes all this nonsense that Fox News pushes out, and you have to go a little bit further. And the same thing with her daughter. Daughter comes with all this nonsense. They're going to close all the roads. No, they weren't going to close all the roads. Now it's martial law is the next thing in the whole country. Martial law is, I mean, your
It,
armies
it,
are
it,
patrolling the
it is
street.
like okay happening now, maybe in Pakistan because
Right.
they are closing all the restaurants already
Right,
closed,
right. But I mean, it's a very
schools
different thing to do it
and
for an epidemic than to declare
government
martial
offices.
law. Martial law is when you're putting the army in charge. This is not the army saying, oh, we're in charge. No, this is just the government saying this is something that's a public health reason. You have to understand that this is a necessity. No matter how much you
Yes.
want to spin your theories, okay, let's assume it is a big hoax and it is all false. Wow, all right. Then the whole system is so far gone that you just forget about it. No matter what you do, you're a pawn in the system. If they're capable of such control and power and to do all this and make you believe that people are dying when nobody is, well, all right, no, then you just lost. Then you got no chance.
Oh
So I'm
yes.
just saying, it's, but they just believe stuff. It's just coming out of their backsides and they believe it. You
Okay.
just have to ask these people based on what? Based on what?
Oh God.
And then it all
I,
changes.
I don't want to get involved into an
Yeah, yeah.
argument where
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
have
I agree. I
much
agree.
details
Yeah, yeah.
to
But
argue.
but that's why I was saying don't even bring up Trump's name, because if you bring up Trump's name, then you kind of putting yourself on a situation where you need to have more information than you do need. But you can just
I
say it
don't do
as
that
an
anymore.
opinion. Oh, right, right. No, no. With Sherry,
Oh.
I mean,
No,
was
she was
exceptional.
just like okay.
Yeah, yeah,
She was talking about this thing, and now Trump is saying
yeah,
that it is going to last. Yeah. So
yeah,
now
yeah. It's just
these
fascinating.
guys need to
So,
understand.
yeah, yeah. But
Okay, I gotta go.
yeah, yeah. So
Because
the point I wanted to say is about discernment, and paying attention and being able to assess things. And whenever we look at stuff, to
mm,
really, really, really pay a deep attention to um, our how we believe and what our beliefs are based on. This is a
mm,
key point to say based on what? What are my
based on what?
beliefs based on? Based on what?
Oh,
Yeah, this is very
yes.
important. Like Thomas, this thing with people want to, abort babies and they baby killers. Based on what?
Mm,
You know, this thing of the
mm.
conspiracy and it's a political thing. This whole coronavirus is some political plot to embarrass Trump. Based on what? Think it through. And when she started to think it through, it was incredible. If you see that she started, and then the implications. She never finished the thought process, but she started to realize that she
Ah.
couldn't actually think it through, because it suddenly became very preposterous very quickly. Like,
Oh,
if it were done for political reasons, who would it
mhm.
benefit? And when you have a political agenda, it's usually one side versus the other. How exactly does it benefit you? How are you going to choose your supporters over the others in an epidemic? Then it switched to China. Oh, it's benefiting China. Who's China's biggest market? America. If you're now shutting everybody down and they're going to sit at home and they're not working, and you're going to put the economy in recession, how does this help you? You're killing your own customers. You're making, you're killing your own business. You're making them less money. So how does this benefit you? It doesn't. Oh no, it's to make us communist. Oh, they want to make the whole world communist because you see, it's like, ah, But Sherry believes a lot of things based on belief. I told you about the pendulum, right?
Oh
And all
no.
sorts of. Oh yeah, I did. I told you that. She had this pendulum. She
Oh
still has
yes.
to
Oh
use it.
yes. Oh yes. Oh
She
yes.
has a lot of things that she just believes because somebody said so. And I see some of the stuff that Connie does too. Now, Connie's not quite so involved in it, and she has some measure, but they come about because there's a community that believes it. And because everybody believes it, well, that must make it true.
Oh yes.
This is the world of Fox News.
Yes, this is the word
It's
of
a sad
boxing.
reality
Yes.
that it's a self-proving thing. They don't, you have to step outside and say, based on what? You know. Yes, it could all be lies, but if it is all lies, then man, these guys are good at what they do, and then I don't want to know specifically that it is a conspiracy and that they're manipulating, because that will make it dangerous for me, right?
Penny texted in the group.
Yes, yeah. So I asked, "Are you going to be there for a while?" He said, "Yes, going to help get this
Okay.
family get settled in a wilderness area. I'm coming back to Sedona on Friday." Oh, well, that's not a while. That's 2 days. But okay.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
So I gotta go,
okay.
and
Okay.
I think that I'll be here in my morning today. I woke up a bit late, later than my usual. So
Well, you should. You're getting to bed late.
oh
So,
yes,
so yeah, sleep late, Beena. Sleep late for a change.
oh, yes,
Okay.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Bye for
Set
now.
your alarm for like 9 o'clock.
I'm not setting alarm. You know that.
No, no, but
My
in this
my
case,
internal.
all right.
Yes, my
Okay. Well,
mind
set your
clock.
internal alarm for 9 o'clock then. All right.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that.
All right. Brilliant. All right.
Okay.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow, Beena. Oh, it feels so early. I don't know, man. It's going too soon. Oh well.
Okay.
Bye bye,
Bye.
Beena. Bye bye. See you tomorrow or
See you soon.
later. Either way.
Yes.
All right. Bye bye. Bye bye. Sleep magically.